वेल हेलो गाइस, आई एम बैक। हाँ, मेरी लास्ट और मेरी फर्स्ट वीडियो का रिस्पांस बहुत ही ठंडा था, टू से द लीस्ट, बट स्टिल आई एम हेयर। क्यों? वेल क्योंकि मेरी मर्ज़ी। जस्ट किडिंग यार, जाहिर है मुझे इन चीज़ों का पता है। वाई वुड यू गाइस जस्ट स्टार्ट वॉचिंग मी आउट ऑफ नो वेयर। मैं अपनी चैनल की ना कोई प्रमोशन करता हूँ, ना मुझे हैशटैग्स का पता है। कॉपीराइट का भी मुझे काफ़ी पहले अंदाज़ा हुआ, वरना मुझे इतना अंदाज़ा नहीं था इन चीज़ों का। और मेरी कंसिस्टेंसी देखकर तो लग रहा है कि मेरा यूट्यूब करियर इज़ ओवर even before it started. खैर, my last video performed exactly the way I expected from it, with a lukewarm response to say the least. Well, today I have more interesting countdown. आज हम इंडियन सिनेमा के टॉप 15 मोस्ट आइकॉनिक कैरेक्टर्स को रेट करेंगे। सो बिफोर आई गेट स्टार्टेड, कुछ चीज़ें एज अ डिस्क्लेमर मैं आपसे कहना चाहूँगा। पहली तो कि मेरा थोड़ा सा गला ख़राब है बिकॉज ऑफ
तो तू टिक्का क्यों खा रहा है भैंस?
I wanted to record this and get over with it, तो इसलिए मैं ये रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ, तो इग्नोर माई वॉइस। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, दिस इज़ माई लिस्ट एंड आई एम मेकिंग दिस लिस्ट एज एन ऑडियंस, नॉट अ क्रिटिक। सेकेंडली, आई एम अ पाकिस्तानी, एज आई हैव मैंशन बिफोर। मेरा इंडियन सिनेमा का एक्सपोजर सिर्फ बॉलीवुड मूवीज़ ही रहा है मोस्टली, तो साउथ मूवीज़ के सिर्फ ये कुछ कैरेक्टर्स मेरे हिसाब से बहुत ही आइकॉनिक हैं, जो इस लिस्ट में एज एन ऑनरेबल मेंशन और एज अ मेन इंडक्टी फीचर होंगे। क्योंकि थिंक अबाउट इट ना यार, इवन लिविंग इन दिस सेक्शन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड आई नो अबाउट दैम। एंड लास्टली, द लिस्ट में इंक्लूड स्पॉयलर। बाद में वो ये मत बोलना कि बताया नहीं यार। इंडियन सिनेमा is one of the oldest industries which have over 10 to 15 film producing industries under its umbrella. So it's pretty evident कि I'll miss many iconic characters throughout. But मैं एक सिनेफाइल हूँ और जो कैरेक्टर्स मैंने इस लिस्ट में इंक्लूड किए हैं उनका कल्चरल और सोशल इम्पैक्ट इतना ज़्यादा रहा कि even me living in Pakistan was able to witness it. So without wasting more time, let's begin. Number 15, PK from the movie PK.
कौन है, कहां से आया, कुछ पता नहीं, पर जिस ढंग से वो इस दुनिया को देखता है हम देख ही नहीं सकते।
Portrayed by Amir Khan, Mr. Perfectionist himself, this character was so iconic in so many ways. हमें बचपन से जो भी सिखाया जाता है, चाहे वो रिलीजन हो या दुनिया के तौर तरीके, we accepted the way they are. But PK एक एलियन था, and that's the most special thing about him, क्योंकि वो हर चीज़ को क्वेश्चन करता था। तो he was new to all this. PK इतनी बेसिक चीज़ों पर इतने बेसिक क्वेश्चन पूछता था कि it makes us question our way of living, कि why we didn't ask these questions before. And the controversies created after the release of the movie made his points even more evident. And his one-liner के धोखा नहीं देगा got so much over with the audiences at the time. It made this character one of the most iconic.
कौन सा रिमोट हुआ? स्पेसशिप का रिमोट हुआ। स्पेसशिप?
Number 14, Devdas from the movie Devdas, based on the 1917 novel of the same name by Sarat Chandra.
बर्दाश्त करने को पीता, हम तो पीते हैं कि यहाँ पर बैठ सकें, तुम्हें देख सकें, आरोप को भुला सकें, लेकिन क्यों इतना पीने के?
Assami director P.C. Bora was the first to adopt the Bengali author's masterpiece for the big screen, starting K.L. Sehgal, also portrayed by two of the most versatile and iconic actors in Indian cinema's history, Shah Rukh Khan in 2002 and Dilip Kumar Sir in 1955. आज भी कोई ब्रेकअप के बाद अल्कोहल को हाथ लगाने को भी सोचता है तो लोग कहते हैं क्या देवदास बन रहा है। This character is the brand ambassador of Hartzmann. He was Kabir Singh before Kabir Singh, but a less toxic one to say the least. Number 13, Vijay Verma, दीवार.
मैं आज भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता,
मैं आज भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता। या फिर मेरे पास बंगला है, गाड़ी है, बैंक बैलेंस है, तुम्हारे पास क्या है? From the iconic robe to the blue shirt, this character is etched in our memories. Portrayed by Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, the character introduced the angry young man persona in Bollywood. The character inspired the character arc and template for rags to riches anti-hero in Indian film industries. Director Prashant Neel once said that the character of Rocky Bhai from his masterpiece KGF is inspired from Bachchan's angry young man persona from 1980s. The movie itself considered a cult classic as it was one of the 3 Hindi films to be featured in the book 1100 movies you must see before you die.
पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेकर आओ जिसने मेरी माँ को गाली देकर नौकरी से निकाल दिया था।
Number 12, Raju from Hera Pheri franchise.
कर बाबू भैया, औरत का चक्कर बहुत बेकार होता है।
ये कैरेक्टर मेरे लिए नंबर 1 है। I don't care what anyone says. He is the best and most relatable character ever portrayed on screen, if you ask me. But keeping my personal emotions aside, Raju, portrayed by Akshay Kumar, the meme legend, is a character which was way ahead of its time. इसीलिए meme culture में इस character की relevance almost 1.5 decade बाद आई है. The way he walked, talk and laugh. Everything is so iconic. Yes, Babu Rao deserved the same appreciation as at the time of the release of the movie, he was the one who was more celebrated. But to be honest, he was a bit caricaturist in its overall execution. But Raju is a everyday middle class Jugadi boy. And if you don't agree with me, I would only say,
हम मालूम है तेरे बाप को मत सिखा, चल सीधे हो जा ज्यादा।
Number 11, Faisal Khan from Gangs of Wasseypur.
आप बीच में नहीं बोलेगा। बाप का, दादा का, भाई का, सबका बदला लेकर तेरा फैजल।
Talk about a game changer. Gangs of Wasseypur was just that. It's a movie that is so much important for Indian cinema that many don't even realize. It gave us actors like Nawazuddin Siddiqui and Pankaj Tripathi, while giving us many iconic characters like Sardar Khan, Ramadhir Singh, or even Perpendicular. But it was the character of Faisal Khan that stole the show for me. It turned the table around for struggling Nawaz, making him one of the most appreciated actors in the industry. Baap ka, Dada ka, Sabka Badla Lega Hai Tera Fajal became so popular among the masses. The movie and the character is still celebrated. The best part about the movie was it turned around the preconceived notion of what a hero should look like. Because certainly Nawaz was not someone with big muscles and massy persona. Certainly the character and the movie was a game changer altogether. Before I reveal my top 10, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 10, Balram Prasad aka Ballu from Khalnayak.
नायक नहीं खलनायक हूँ मैं, नायक नहीं खलनायक हूँ मैं।
Nayak nahi Khalnayak hu main. This anti-hero was first of its kind in Bollywood, portrayed by Sanjay Dutt. This character changed his career forever, as after this Sanjay Dutt would mostly cast in somewhat same type of gangster roles, and it defined his career later on. The character was so heavily popular in the masses in early 90s that youth started to adopt the mannerisms of Ballu, from his hairstyle to his iconic laugh. And everything became so much iconic. The character also inspired real-life gangster Billu Saida, Although it's not something to be appreciated, but we are talking here about the cultural impact, and that box is ticked with a thick marker. With this character, still in the villages near my city, the boys walk and talk like Ballu. Number 9. Jordan from the movie Rockstar.
कंट्रोल ही नहीं कर पाता, मुझे बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लगता, मैं खुद
Jordan was a type of character जिसकी importance cannot be explained, nor we can tell why it resonated with the masses so much, but it did. The music by legendary A.R. Rahman made the character more iconic in every shape and form. The journey of the character from an ordinary wannabe musician to a legend was a treat to watch. Love and heartbreak changed Jordan's life around, and maybe that resonated with the masses. The character's incredible journey makes him one of the most iconic and legendary characters in the history of cinema. Ranveer knocked it out of the park with this film. Number 8. Kabir Singh, Arjun Reddy from the movie Kabir Singh and Arjun Reddy.
इसने टच किया उसको मदर चोद
Toxic, misogynistic, angry, handsome, and messiah of ashiks. These are the tropes that define this character. Talk about a character that became a saving grace for Shahid Kapoor and give Vijay Deverakonda a global recognition. Both performances were adored by critics and masses respectively. The flawed character of this sort was never before seen in Indian cinema. So much so that each and every of his mannerisms were adored and copied by youth. From his bearded look to his iconic bike, everything became just legendary. Shahid was in a league of its own, but Vijay's performance was so adored that he was featured in Film Companion's greatest performances of the decade. If you disagree with me on any point, maybe this BGM will make you agree with me. Number 7. Radhe from the movie Tere Naam. The character Radhe saved Salman's declining career 2 times, once with Tere Naam and later with Wanted. While both characters had nothing to do with each other, as Tere Naam was based on a Tamil film Sethu released in 1999. The character was so iconic that Times of India considered it best performance of Salman's career at the time. His presence, his style, his mannerism and his iconic hairstyle all collectively made Radhe an unforgettable character. The character got so much famous कि उस time पर हर लड़का सलमान का hairstyle and personality copy करने लग गया था. His recent real life breakup at that time made the character more relatable and audiences connect with the character even more. Even here in Pakistan, everyone wanted to become Radhe Bhai. This character personified Salman. To sum it up, he was the more cooler version of Kabir Singh. Number 6. Rocky Bhai from KGF franchise.
जो राज करने आता है वो शहर को अपने बारे में सिखाता है. If you think you are bad, I am your dad.
सलाम रॉकी भाई. यार मुझे याद नहीं रिसेंट टाइम्स में किसी कैरेक्टर ने इतना इम्पैक्ट किया है ऑडियंसेस को. I mean, Rocky Bhai became a sensation. The character became the franchise, the brand. The journey started with bold and eye-raising move of releasing movie head-to-head with Shah Rukh's Zero and ended becoming one of the highest grosser of post-pandemic era. जिसका इम्पैक्ट इतना था कि आमिर्स लाल सिंह चड्डा एंड शाहिद जर्सी both shifted their dates as they were uncertain that they won't be able to compete with KGF's Chapter 2. The new age angry young man, the anti-hero persona of Rocky, captivated audiences around the globe. Rocking star Yash became a household name and an overnight sensation, likes of which audiences were craving for a long period of time in Indian cinema. The mother-son bond, the pure swag, the mass mannerism made the character one for the ages. No doubt, he is the CEO of India. Before my top 5, here are a few more honorable mentions. Number 5, Rahul Mehra from the movie Dar. When I watched this film back in the day, मेरे लिए ये फंडा क्लियर था कि who is the hero and who is the villain. Of course, Sunny Deol, a handsome military man with little to no flaws, was the hero. And SRK, a stalker psychopath killer obsessed with love, was the villain. But once the movie was over, the only scenes and character I remember from the movie was of Rahul Mehra. His song Tu Hai Meri Kiran was stuck in my mind, so much so that I would hum it throughout the day. His shout, his dialogues, everything stayed with me. It quickly made me understand the concept of anti-hero. Such was the impact of this iconic character. Shah Rukh Khan's performance was so bone-chilling that this character became a measuring stick for such a character in years to come. It was a humanized version of a monster. The impact was such that even today, Shah Rukh uses his dialogue Kiran to give that nostalgic feeling to fans.
किरण हाँ वो आज भी लोगों की ज़बान पर है और जब भी शाहरुख खान की बात करते हैं तो लोग वही सुनाते हैं.
हाँ और मुझे बड़ा अजीब लगता है जैसा वो सुनाते हैं वैसे मेरी आवाज़ बिल्कुल नहीं है.
Despite its negative shades, audiences still sympathize with Rahul क्योंकि ये कैरेक्टर इतना रिलेटेबल था, एक तरफा ऑब्सेस्ड आशिक के रोल में. हाँ, यू कैन डिबेट के किसी फ्लॉड कैरेक्टर को हीरोइक दिखाना इज़ नॉट फेयर, बट दैट्स सिनेमा फॉर यू एंड दैट्स द मैजिक ऑफ स्क्रिप्ट एंड स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग, जो हीरो को विलन और विलन को हीरो बना सकती है. ऐसे तो यू कैन डिबेट अबाउट जोकर फ्रॉम डार्क नाइट एज वेल, एज ही वॉज मोर लव्ड एंड अपलॉडेड बाय ऑडियंसेस एज कम्पेयर टू बैटमैन. We'll leave that discussion for later. Number 4, Raj Malhotra from DDLJ. नाम तो सुना ही होगा या फिर मैं कहूँ दिल तो दिया ही होगा. Every 90s girl had a crush on this character, a lovable, cute and sometimes silly character of Rahul from the nostalgic Dil Wale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge established Shah Rukh's career as the king of romance. Made Kajol and Shah Rukh the couple of the 90s and established Yash Raj as the brand. राहुल का अगर ये तुझसे प्यार करती है तो पलटेगी, तू सेनोरिटा, बड़े बड़े देशों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं, became so iconic that it's still a template for lover boys. Still, Bollywood in many movies still pays tribute by using these dialogues of Rahul to impress the opposite sex. The movie is the longest running movie in the cinema and Rahul managed to stay with us. Number 3, Mahindra Bahubali from the Bahubali saga. बाहुबली एक फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर था जो कि इंडियन फ्रीडम फाइटर से लेकर माइथोलॉजिकल एंड स्क्रिप्चरल वॉरियर्स जैसे कि हनुमान और जीस सबसे इंस्पायर्ड था. बाहुबली ने लिटरली इंडियन ऑडियंसेस को साउथ मूवीज़ का एक ऐसा मेमोरेबल एक्सपीरियंस दिया जिसने साउथ मूवीज़ के डोर्स एज अ पैन इंडिया फिल्म हमेशा के लिए खोल दिए. It was this movie जिसके बाद movies like KGF, Triple R, Vikram, Pushpa as pan India film theater में release हुए and एक global phenomenon बन गए. Bahubali made audiences realize the true potential of South movies. बात करें कैरेक्टर की तो ये एक larger than life कैरेक्टर था जिसको इंडियन हरक्यूलिस भी कह सकते हैं. ऐसा पावरफुल और इम्पैक्टफुल कैरेक्टर शायद आज तक इंडियन सिनेमा में नहीं आया. ओवर द ईयर्स बाहुबली पावर के साथ सिंबलाइज होने लगा. बिफोर दिस किसी भी पावरफुल इंडिविजुअल को हल्क या खली या इवन दारा सिंह कहकर एड्रेस किया जाता होगा, बट आफ्टर दिस मूवी एक स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड पावरफुल इंसान की पहचान ये कैरेक्टर बन गया. द मूवी बिकेम द हाईएस्ट ग्रॉसिंग इंडियन मूवी ऑफ ऑल टाइम, also one of the highest rated Indian movie of all time on IMDb, and that's because of the character of Bahubali. From the first frame to the last, when he is showcased as a divine being in the sky, as his son Amrindra Bahubali finally proceed to strike Bhalal Dev, everything accounts to make him one of the most memorable and powerful character in the history of Indian cinema. बाहुबली का नाम सुनते ही लोगों में एक एनर्जी आ जाती है. Name any other character who had this kind of presence. The character became so popular कि इस मूवी के सिर्फ इस कैरेक्टर पर कॉमिक्स एंड एनिमेटेड सीरीज बनी, that too on a global platform like Netflix. And this character made Prabhas a overnight pan-India star and a highest paid Indian actor too. That's the impact of this once in a lifetime character. Number 2, Munna Bhai from the Munna Bhai franchise. The character of Munna along with his sidekick Circuit became so extremely popular and legendary that words can't do justice to them. It turned around the career of Sanjay Dutt and introduced a light-hearted cool bhai character that was a gangster but a kind-hearted one to say the least. A lovable gangster with a heart of gold. His Jadoo Ki Jhappi became the B word. It transformed Dutt's career and image overnight and gave Hirani his perfect Munna. Even today, the director would be hard pressed to find someone who could embody the character better than Dutt. The movie was remade in several languages, but what Dutt accomplished with the character cannot be replicated ever again. और क्या आपको पता है, मुन्ना भाई मूवी का इन्फ्लुएंस इतना था कि इंडियन कोर्ट में एक्चुअली इस मूवी के बाद ये रूल निकाला गया कि अगर किसी को मेडिकल इमरजेंसी हो, डिस्पाइट बीइंग अ पुलिस केस, फर्स्ट डॉक्टर विल डील विद द पेशेंट बिफोर एवरी फॉर्मेलिटी. एंड इवन ड्यूरिंग अ मेडिकल स्टूडेंट केस इन इंडियन सुप्रीम कोर्ट, द इंडियन सुप्रीम कोर्ट मेड मुन्ना भाई रेफरेंस. The Supreme Court likens the medical college case to Munna Bhai MBBS. Such was the impact of Munna Bhai MBBS, Munna Bhai's once in a lifetime character. Before I unveil my top pick, here are the last but certainly not the least honorable mentions. Number 1, Gabbar from the movie शोले. एक आइकॉनिक कैरेक्टर क्या होता है? द वन जिसका हर एक मैनरिज्म, स्टाइल, डायलॉग ऑडियंसेस को थ्रू आउट द जनरेशंस याद रहे. एंड नो अदर कैरेक्टर कैन कम क्लोज टू अमजद खान्स गब्बर, जिसके सिंपल डायलॉग्स लाइक कितने आदमी थे या फिर तेरा क्या होगा कालिया all got so famous that even after 50 years we still remember them. Even sound of his footsteps and laugh became legendary. Name any other character that has that kind of impact. Don't even try, because you can't. It's mainly because of Amjad Khan's impeccable dialogue delivery that made Gabbar so legendary. Amitabh and Dharmendra, the co-star of Amjad in Sholay, once claimed that they always knew this character will do wonders for the Indian cinema. And that's exactly what it did. Gabbar के साथ जो sidekicks थे like Samba and Kalia also got so over कि actors like McMohan continued to be referred as Samba throughout his career, even though his character had just one line in the movie. And same goes for Vijju Khote as Kalia. Major and minor characters continued to be used in commercials, promos, films and sitcoms. The supporting actors remained etched in public memory as the characters they played in the movie Sholay. The BBC has described Sholay as the Star Wars of Bollywood, comparing its impact on Hindi language films to the impact of Star Wars 1977 later had on Hollywood, while comparing Gabbar Singh to Darth Vader. Filmfare in 2013 named Gabbar Singh the most iconic villain in the history of Indian cinema, and the character was included in 2010 list of 80 iconic performances. Sholay is also a movie that sold the second largest number of tickets ever as an Indian movie. The ticket movie sold was around 25 crore to be approx, a number that is still unmatched by the cult classics like Three Idiots, Bahubali, Awara, Dangar or even KGF Chapter 2. The film has reached a mythic stature in popular culture and has been called the greatest Hindi film of all time. So much so that 20 years after its release, Sholay was first shown on the Indian DD National Television channel, where it drew the highest rating ever for a film broadcasted. Such was the impact of Sholay and its villain that we all know today as Gabbar Singh. And that was the list, guys. Do let me know in the comments what you like and what you dislike. And do subscribe to my channel for interesting and fascinating countdowns. And yes, I know कुछ वर्ड मैंने मम्बल जम्बल किए और कुछ जगह मेरी आवाज़ बहुत ज़्यादा डाउन थी और कुछ जगह मेरी आवाज़ बहुत ज़्यादा हाई थी. It's because of that flu I mentioned earlier in the video. तो हमेशा की तरह कहा सुना माफ़. Goodbye.